Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Sousou no Frieren episode number 25 reaction. So the previous episode we are still in the dungeon and Frieren's group is little by little progressing. Obviously Frieren is taking her time, like going to different corners of the dungeon, exploring, trying to find out treasure and stuff, just like Himmel used to do. She's also enjoying it. While over here, Denkenstim is struggling with the clone Frieren, and they're just waiting. And a few things happen. We get to see a few of the other teams. For example, we get to see what's his name? Verbal. No, not Verbal. What's his name? Land. Yeah, Land and Jubel's team. And the thing with them, that whole situation that happened. And then we move to Frieren's group coming across Denken's group, and they're thinking how to take care of this situation, this clone. And in the end, it turns out that Fern has a plan, and they cannot hypnotize it or do anything like that because it doesn't even have a mind. So Fern has a plan, and I do wonder what it is. She says that I have a plan to destroy this, and I'm like, it's like if it's anyone, it's probably going to be Fern who can decipher a way to defeat Frieren, because Fern has been with Frieren for such a long time. She's literally her caretaker. So she knows a lot of things that even Frieren might not know and might not realize about herself. So yeah, she's the best person here in this situation. So let us see what happens today, episode number 25. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here, sync it whichever is a preference, and let's get started. Right, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Hmm. Right. Let's hear it then. Oh, okay. Hmm. Hmm. A fatal vulnerability. These two. Oh, these two are here. No, but it's not possible. Here we go. I'm pretty sure they'll tell us. Yeah. Wait, where's the other one? There's another guy with them. Oh no, is he dead or something? we don't know. Okay. Oh God. Oh Lord. Like hopefully he he uses his golem before it's too late. Like that's the thing. Even though he has a golem, he has to use it. He doesn't have a mind. Yeah. Yeah, he said that to everyone. Oh, nice. That'll help. Frieren, I guess Frieren cannot use like Frieren can also use like little holy magic. She also has a scripture. Oh. Hmm. Yep. Oh yeah, they don't know about it. Like we saw it in the previous episode. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, these two are here. Oh yeah. Okay, they know about it. All right. Nice. Yeah. Oh. Okay, makes sense. Probably told her stories. Hmm. Why? Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I saw that they were like waiting up until the very end, but then they left. Wow. Yeah, he did try to attack and kill them before. Yeah. Oh my god. I see. That's why. Okay. We have to go there first. Hmm. Oh, then we have to defeat her. I wonder where is Farron's clone? Like it'll be crazy if Farron's clone starts cooperating with Frieren's clone. Yeah. Oh my god. I was literally talking about this. Like Fern's clone. They were defeated right before Oh. So they will be coming here very soon. Hmm. Yeah? And Fer knows the most about Frieren. Like I said, she takes care of Frieren, so she knows about it. Okay. What? Okay. What? What? Explanation? Why did I miss this? A mana detection breaks off. Oh. Wait, so then we can use that to sneak in, I guess? No, what? Wait, what can we do using that? Hmm. Maybe while we're doing this, like someone can. I don't know. Well, it reminds her of her previous party, probably. Back in the days. What the? Yep, back in the days. It reminds her of this. Yeah. Oh, bro. Hello? Just behind you. Nice. Okay. Hmm. They're still school. Bickering. Lavin and Kan. Right, we're ready now. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Right. Yeah, that is important because hopefully, like, they don't get. Oh Lord, here we go. Everyone's coming. Yep. Hmm. Oh, there she is. We have to take care of. Yep. Hmm. Oh. Whoa. Oh, is that okay? Fern. Yeah, it is her. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And I see that makes sense since elves are so long living. Hmm. Yeah, I can understand because like Fern has been using Zoltrak from the beginning. However, for Frieren, as she said, through the vast amount of time that she has lived, is very recently she got to know Zoltrak. So the whole scale is different, and it makes sense how Fern is way more comfortable with it. Oh, a little flashback. Oh, oh yeah. Hmm. Plum. Well, she's probably used to all of this. She's seen a lot of deaths before as well. Report. Okay. Always consider magic to work with him. Oh, really? Hmm. She wants more. Hmm. Yeah, that is pretty big. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, but that also brings its own share of problems as well. Like, bruh. Wow. Oh wow, she even predicted that. Dream came true. Hmm. Oh, that's. Hmm. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I remember in the very first episode, I think. Or was it the second episode that we saw that? But she did it, or almost did it. Hmm. She knew that she doesn't have much time to, yeah, like limited lifespan. That's why we try to, humans try to do everything within that limited scope of time. And we pass it on to our future generations. Postpone is just a century. Right. Hmm. Hmm. We will be overtaken by humans. Or me. Oh, or a human mage. Wow. I guess that makes sense because as she said that humans will surpass you and every one of us very soon. Wow, the difference. You can see how this is so like how Frieren looks at it in such a interesting way, which serious. Wow, I'll talk about this later. Like the fundamental difference between Zeria and Frieren, this is where it lies. I'll talk about it in the discussion section. Okay. Nice. There you go. And there you go. She was the one who killed Frieren, I guess, in that way. Oh boy. Ugh. And there you go. That was this episode. Now, like I was saying, you can see the big difference and the fundamental difference between Zeria and Frieren is that we saw this in the very first episode where, you know, in that flashback, we were properly introduced to Zeria. Where you remember where Flamme brought Frieren in front of her, and Zeria was like, "Oh, is there any spell that you fancy that you want to know?" And Frieren was like, "Oh no, I don't know. Like I'll find it out on my own, and that's more fun. That's more interesting." At which Zeria was like Flamme, you brought a girl who has no ambition. What the hell? And that whole conversation, it established how different the way the thought process works for both Zeria and Frieren. Zeria is more of a type of person who is more efficient, I'm guessing. Like she's the type of person who would like to take any opportunity that presents itself in front of her to become better as a mage. That is why actually not like letting go of an opportunity as huge as this, where someone like her is giving Frieren an opportunity to teach a magic spell, which Frieren was like, "Oh no, I'll find it out on my own. I'll figure it out on my own. That's more fun." Something like that is completely outrageous in her head. She's like, "What the hell?" Someone like her who prefers efficiency over the actual sense of adventure or the fun. For her, this is such a weird type of an answer. If she was in Frieren's position, she would have definitely jumped and grabbed that opportunity and probably got a very strong spell. Because she's efficient. She's like that. Like, she's ambitious. She's efficient. Unlike Frieren, where Frieren is completely opposite and she works like more for the fun of things and wants to find out about stuff on her own, like finds the the adventure in that journey more precious than the result. Like she's like Frieren's the type of person who enjoys the journey and who is there for the journey more than the end result, unlike Zeria, who is just there for the end result, kind of like that. So that is the fundamental difference between these two. And today's episode again establishes that. In the end, when Zeria was talking about how there like an era is going to come when humans will be like more would be able to use more magic and would surpass the elves. When she says that, here we go, things will move more faster and faster from here on. In just 1,000 years, the era of humans will arrive. Do not neglect your training, Frieren. There is a possibility that like they might surpass you. And then she also says that just remember this, in the future a day might come where your downfall will be either through the hand of a demon king or a human mage. She says that, and you can see how how crazy, like after all these things that she said, Frieren's answer was like, "Oh, like I can't wait for that. Like I cannot wait for the day. From this point on, we'll see so many mages with so many different type of magics. We will see. I can't wait for that." She literally says that. Like it is so like. It just shows how she how this whole thing, her whole like what's that word, her whole tendency of, like I said, like walking on, like going on a journey for the journey in itself and not caring about the end point or the beginning point. That is Frieren. And this statement is literally like it shows that it literally shows that. While Zeria is talking about how a time might come where some human mage and the humans will surpass her, she's like, "Oh wow, can't wait for that, because that would mean like that a lot of human mages will come who will have so many different types of magic, and it's so fun to see that." You can see how like Frieren is just completely opposite to Zeria in that aspect. And I like the symbolism here as well, where you can see Frieren is looking towards the sun rising, which I guess denotes the future or like a bright future, while Zeria is looking away from it, towards the back. Both are looking in the opposite direction. And I don't know, maybe this was a symbolism. That's at least how I see it. Like Frieren is more optimistic towards this, while Zeria is fearing for the day. Not fearing, I would say, but she's thinking about the day when they will be surpassed. And while Frieren is looking forward to that. And both of them, like, she's looking towards the sun, Zeria is looking on the other direction, something like that. Anyways, that was great. That scene was really good. I really liked that scene. And it's just, and it makes sense how humans would be able to, like, this is the thing, elves are not only elves, but any type of demon king, demon whatever, like any type of creature who has a long lifespan, like one thing always happens to them is that they become stagnant. Like it's like like they are born with so much possibilities and so much potential, and that they become stagnant. They themselves don't have to do much to hone their skills. It's literally a difference between a genius and a person who works hard. Like elves are, if you think about it in that way, elves are the representation of geniuses. They are born with so much, that they don't need to hone their skills that much. They can only go along with it, and they'll be perfect from the beginning. Whereas if you think about it like that, humans are more of the underdog who are obviously lacking in so many things compared to elves. However, they have one thing that elves usually do not use or do not have because of the abundance of time they have. Humans have hard work, and they have that because of their small lifespan. Since the lifespan is small, human beings try to do so much things within that, and they have this motivation, this this passion to do some things, since they know that time is limited. Unlike elves, who are like, as we saw Zeri here, she was like, oh, we elves can just literally postpone something for 1 century. It doesn't matter, This is why I'm saying, elves are more akin to geniuses, unlike humans who are more like the underdog, but that underdog has hard work with them. So that is why human beings prosper more and more as time will go on, while elves and any type of creatures who have a larger lifespan, they will be more stagnant because of the abundance of time they have. While humans will keep progressing in an alarming rate. They'll die, their next generation will come, they'll pass on their work to their next generation, they'll die, they'll pass it to the next generation, and it's going to go on and on and on in an alarming rate, progressing and finally surpassing elves or any type of creatures. And that is why always, I don't know, maybe that is why every single time it's the humans or the heroes that wins against the demon lord, because even though humans don't have that age or whatever, they have one of the biggest things with them, that is the ability to, their hard work and their ability to evolve and adapt in such an alarming rate. One generation dies off, the next generation is there to carry over that work, and they keep going and working in that alarming rate, becoming better and better and better, finally reaching a point when they can defeat the demon lord. And then the demon lord, is just gone, and while the demon lord is just sitting there, stagnant. Similar with elves as well, as you can see. And you cannot really blame them, because just think about it. If you have millions of years, and you're going to just be alive for millions of years, you're just going to be lazy. You'll be like, what? Today's one day out of all those million years I will be living. Why should I do anything today when I can just laze around, in that sense? They have abundance of time, and that makes them more stagnant in their ways. And it's just, it makes sense. And so that scene was really good. I really like that whole contrast between Frieren and Zerie, where we could see that Zerie is concerned, or at least she's thinking about the future where humans might surpass them, Frieren is like very excited for that possibility and just wants to know about, like what type of humans she'll meet, and like what type of new magic she'll get to know, stuff like that. The difference between these two. And yeah, so that part was really good. I really liked that part, that whole section. And other than that, we could see today's episode, I don't think there were much thing, not enough things actually happened. We had that scene, that scene in the end. And other than that, throughout the whole episode, there wasn't really much that happened. They were just making like plans how to take care of the clone. And Fern kind of did a little demonstration and against Frieren, and Denken was like, "What the hell? Why did I not like realize this when I was fighting against her?" And that is how we were able to get to know their weakness. We also met up with that dude, the one in Edel's team. I think that's her name, who came over here, and he told us that like mind doesn't exist on this clone, so you cannot hypnotize them or do anything, or any type of mental attacks you cannot do. That also happened. And yeah, and that was it. And then in the end, obviously, we go in and fight against the clone, and as we can see, Frieren obviously goes like head to head against that clone, like attacks them. The clone also attacks her, but whenever they're attacking each other, there's like a little moment of time where when they kind of lower their guard, which was the time when Fern struck and was able to defeat Frieren, or Frieren's clone. And obviously, as we can see, Zaria's word comes true. It was a human mage who defeated Frieren. Not Frieren as per se, but Frieren's clone. The same thing. Either way, yeah, and that was today's episode. Right. Yeah, it was a good episode. And I really liked that scene. That whole flashback with Zaria. That scene was really good. Oh, another thing like we got to see here is that Flamme in her will wrote that she wants humans. Where's that part? Humanity to have the power to fight back against the Demon King. An era when any human can use magic. She wants that. And the king will begin researching magic and using it for military purposes. Something like that, which Zaria wasn't really happy about. And she's like, no, I don't want to teach every single person, or I don't want every single person to learn about magic. I want to teach only them, or I want only those people to know about magic who are worthy enough. Which I can see, I can understand her sense, her way of thinking, because just think about it, she is someone who is just who has so much magic, who's so much more proficient in magic than so many other mages. Like, she's probably one of the best magic users in the whole world. So someone like her, who's a genius, if you tell them that, oh, every single person should learn about this magic, obviously she'll be like, come on, no, I only want to teach the ones who are worthy enough. Because there'll be a lot of people who will just misuse it, or just not care about it. It's just going to be that thing. And that is why I don't know, maybe that is why she was really not happy about it. There we go. I cannot possibly comply with her will. It truly disgusts me. An era when anyone can use magic. Magic is meant to be special. There you go. I have no intention of teaching it to those without the potential. And yeah, she says that. And yeah, I can see her way of looking at this. But then again, it's just again, this kind of shows the difference in the way each of them thinks about magic. For example, this way of thinking, the way she thinks about this, shows how Zaria feels about magic in itself. How, as I said, she's very efficient. She's very has no wasted thing. She's very efficient. She does what is intended, and she's very serious about magic. While Frieren and Flamme, you can see Flamme as well. As we get to know more about Flamme, Seria kind of tells us that she was the type of girl who loved one magic, which was making a flower garden. Like she really loved that. That was the magic that she loved the best. And uh, and she says, like she loved magic from the bottom of her heart. That is why she wanted others to know about it too. That's why she wanted this. She wanted other peoples to learn about it. Unlike Zerie, as we can see, where she is more of the, like I said, like efficient type. She only wants to teach magic to those who are worthy enough. You know. So yeah, so that is the difference. Frieren and Flamme does magic for fun, for the sense of adventure, unlike Zerie, who's more serious about it. um, and I can see that, you know um Frieren, probably, I think Frieren like grew up like Frieren is also like Flamme, probably because Flamme was her teacher. Because I'm just thinking about it, I feel like it was Flamme's influence that made Frieren like she is. The way she genuinely loves magic, and like has this sense of um like wonder and this sense of adventure in this whole thing, that that it was that came from Flamme's teachings, I think, because she's the one who taught Frieren from a very, like from the very beginning. I was going to say from a very young age, and then I remembered that for Frieren it wasn't that much time. Like how long has Flamme lived? Maximum 100 years. For Frieren, it was just a blink of an eye. So I stopped midway. I was gonna say, like, yeah, it was like she has been teaching Frieren from a very young age, and then I remembered, no, not exactly. Either way, yeah, I can see that, like that Flamme's influence was probably something that influenced Frieren the most. And it's interesting to see like how Frieren has actually like you have to think about it. Why is Frieren and Zenze so different in their way of thought? The way they look at the world and the way they like perceive the world and everything. Why is it so different? Because I don't know who like Zense hangs out with. I have no clue. All we see is that she's just sitting in that throne. That's all we see. But we know one thing is that the people Frieren has been getting along with. The first person was Flamme, who was a human, and obviously who was also like who loved magic, and her passion for magic like transferred to Frieren as she grew, as she got taught about magic by Flamme. And then we get Himmel and his group, and like their humanity also started rubbing off on Frieren, and little by little she started getting influenced by them. And now we have Fern and Stark. So it's just, like people that she has been, moving forward with in her journey, has been people who has been influencing her. And that is why she's so different. Her thought process is so different because she's been hanging out with humans throughout like most of her time that we see. So it makes sense, like how her thought process kind of is more like a human, like like not like that, but like the stuff that we see, unlike Zenze, who has a very different way of looking at magic and other stuff. But yeah, and you have to agree, you have to like admit that the way we saw Frieren at the very first episode, where she was just like completely like just stoic, like with blank face, just even when Himmel died, she just had this face, and then she broke down, obviously. That, and how she looked at death and life, it has changed so much throughout this whole thing. And now we can see how different she is. So you can see how she's being influenced by humans. How her brain is kind of becoming like them. Unlike elves, who have a very different set of values, very different way of looking at it, because of their like long lifespan. But yeah, but she's, after her like hanging out with so many humans, she can understand human beings, or at least she's in the process of understanding human beings. Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, and that was today's episode. Like I said, great episode. And yeah, so let's see. Okay, now let me talk about this episode now, scene by scene. In the beginning section, we get to see. Oh, I just realized now why in that particular scene, Frieren gets a flashback of Zenze. At that time, I didn't really understand why they suddenly showed Zenze there. When Frieren was like, "Oh, I might have a way I can kill Frieren," and at that exact moment, you see Frieren kind of having a little flashback of Zenze. At that point, I didn't know. I was like, "Why are they showing her?" Now I know, because that particular conversation happened there when Zenze said that a time will come when a human might be able to kill you, human mage will be able to surpass you. So that probably, like, she probably connected that with this, and that's why that flashback. Okay. Now after that, so at the beginning they don't really, like, Fern doesn't really say much, but at first they kind of make a strategy based on the fact that how they should take care of the clone if mental attacks are effective on it. So they're like, if mental attacks are effective on it, then it's all well and good. We can easily just defeat it. However, at that exact same moment, thankfully, that guy comes in who was with Edel, and he's like, I have like information for you, and he tells us what happened. So obviously, Edel got hurt, and she used the golem to get out of here. But then, obviously, another character was missing from his party, and that guy, and we get to know that he was also badly hurt, and he stayed, letting him get away from there. And hopefully he was able to break the bottle before it was too late, because this is the thing, the golem obviously is going to help us out and protect us if we break it. If we are somehow defeated and killed before we break it, then there's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. So yeah, like Zenze's golem is obviously a way to reduce the casualties, but it's definitely not a way to completely, like, just make the casualties zero, because there is a high possibility of the the character themselves dying before they're able to break the golem bottle, or they get so much hurt that even if they break the golem bottle, by the time they're taken out, they die midway. There's a huge possibility of that. So hopefully he was able to use it before it gets too late and get out of that place. But yeah, this guy has come here, and he's like, let me tell you guys what has happened. And he's like, the clones do not have a mind. So there you go, the first plan just scratched out. We cannot use it because that was a plan based on the fact that if they had a mind. So we cannot use that. Now they're also, they also talk about, like, a few other things. For example, the true identity of the clone and the summoner. They don't know about it, because they're here. We did get to know about Spiegel. I think that was the name of the monster from the previous episode, where we got to hear those two guys, that instructor, I forgot his name, him talking to the other guy about this. So we as audiences know, whether they don't know. So they're like, I do wonder what's up with that, and then okay, yeah, while all of this is happening, Kanye and Lawine comes in, and they're like, oh, Lawine is like, I know about it. And she says that they don't have any weakness, and talks about the Spiegel, the monster called Spiegel, and stuff like that. And when asked that how does she know about it, she says how her brother went into, like, the ruins of the king's tombs to conquer it. Unfortunately, their whole party was wiped out except his party, all that stuff. Okay, at which Richter is like, oh, you should have shared this information and cooperated with us from the beginning. Now, here's the thing. I actually, before this whole thing started, when they were talking about the rules, and when Zenze said the rules and said all of that, I was really expecting Kanye and Lawine to stay up until the very end and join us, join Frieren or everyone else. That was what I was thinking. So I was pretty surprised when I saw both of them leave. And I was also thinking, I was like, they could have just come with us, couldn't they? Why did they leave? Because there's no penalty or anything like that where if like against cooperation, we can cooperate with each other. And Kanye and Lawine, unlike those other guys who were highly suspicious of everyone else, excuse me, Kanye and Lawine knows Frieren and they trust her as well. So I was actually expecting them to come with us. But then they left and I was like, okay, so that didn't work out. So oh no, wait, Frieren and Fern left before. Oh, okay, no, I was expecting them to go along with them. So it really like made me think like why when Frieren and Fern left, why didn't they go along with them? So we get to know why. She kind of explains. Where's that part? Here we go. It doesn't seem like everyone was in the mood to work together back then. And Lavinia says, and before we knew it, Frieren and Fern had already gone. There you go. Yeah. So that was the reason why they were there for a long amount of time. You could say they were like waiting up until the very end, but then they left. So that is why they were probably thinking whether they should cooperate or not. But then like Lawine Khan and the whole Richter situation, where Richter literally threatened to kill them. You remember that? And she's like, yeah, like like you try to kill us. Like I cannot trust you. Like you're the type of person who doesn't really cooperate with anyone. Who knows what you might do to us? So yeah, I just didn't want to go along with you guys. Right, so there you go, which makes sense. Obviously, like they had a life and death battle before. Why would they go along with that same person? Yeah, and it's crazy to see like Denken, what he thought about this whole like thing. That's actually coming true. We are literally cooperating now. And when Denken told at the very beginning, everyone was like, nah, like no, like we can take care of this on our own, like like they were like dismissive of him. And now everyone's literally cooperating. I'm like, good God. And Denken also said, Denken's like, you kids, like I literally said this from the very beginning that we should cooperate. And now look at this situation. At the end of the day, you are like like cooperating now. Every one of us are cooperating with each other now. Like so yeah, like there you go. Right, anyways, so now they also talk about the fact that the clone Frieren has made like a seal type of thing, so they cannot really sneak in. It's sealed, and the Spiegel is behind that door, so we have to defeat Frieren before we go in and defeat the Spiegel. So even though the Spiegel isn't really that strong, but this is what makes it more annoying, that it literally spawns characters who come inside the dungeon. And here for a moment I actually thought like, oh, maybe like Fern's clone is also going to come, and the Fern's clone will come and start cooperating with Frieren's clone. That's what I thought, because as we know, like the clones, even though they don't have a mind, they kind of emulate what their minds do. So I was thinking maybe that's what's going to happen, because Frieren and Fern are actually teammates and they're like they work together. So maybe that would have happened with this as well, like Fern's clone was going to come and join Frieren's clone to fight against us or something like that, I thought. But it didn't, like it didn't go that far. We were able to defeat Frieren before that, the clone. Okay, so here Fern is like, okay, I have a plan. So she's like, Frieren, can you please stand over there? And she stands over there, and Fern uses her offensive magic, Zoltak. And there you go, at which Denken immediately realizes. Denken's like, oh my god, like she has such a big weakness. I never realized that when fighting. So he said, as they explain, the weakness is that when the second she casts a spell, her mana detection breaks off for just a split second. Yeah, that's a common mistake apprentice mages make. And they're like, why didn't you tell us this? And she's like, oh, I was embarrassed. I cannot tell this to everyone. Either way, now that we have like a This is going to be a problem, wouldn't it? I'm just thinking now that they know Frieren's weakness. This is not the end. There, if even if you win this match, there'll be a next round. I feel like next round, at least the people here, if they come across Frieren, if they have to fight against Frieren, especially Denken, he's going to make use of this, and that'll be a problem. It still will be difficult to defeat Frieren, but he knows one of her biggest weaknesses now. Okay, either way, so they're like, yeah, this is like, like something that we can use. So their plan is for Frieren and Fern to go in. Frieren is going to like fight against the clone, while Fern is going to use that opportunity to defeat it. Now they did talk about that, oh, like why don't we go together? But as we got to see in the end, they decided not to go all together, because if they do that, there's a possibility of higher casualties. Not only that, there is a possibility of other clones coming from the back. So while Frieren and Fern will be fighting, like they can take care of those clones. So that is what the whole plan was. And while making this plan, we get to see Frieren kind of smiling, and Fern is like, oh, you're having fun. And Frieren kind of reminisces about back in the days when she and her party used to go and take care of like the dungeons. And we get a particular flashback of Himmel and Eisenheiter and Frieren fighting against this weird dragon type of thing. Yeah, okay, so right after that, they're off. They go inside, while the rest of the group, they decide to protect Frieren and Fern from the other clones that are going to come, so that they can fight without any interruptions. Okay, so the battle begins. Frieren and Frieren are fighting, while Fern is like waiting for the proper opportunity to attack. And while all of this is happening, okay, so while they were planning, one thing they kind of talk about, where Fern says that would it be really enough to attack with just Zoltar? At which Frieren says, it is the quickest to cast after all. Besides, Zoltar is relatively a new spell for elves. Here we go. It hasn't been long enough for me to block it by instinct. No matter what I do, it may be just for a moment, but when I have to deal with it, my reaction becomes slightly delayed. And she says, unlike you, Fern, for you, Zoltar is something that has always existed since you were born. This is kind of funny, because this literally reminds me of old people and smartphones, if you think about it. Just think about it. Like old people, if you try to introduce like a new type of technology to them, they'll always like be very like they'll struggle with it. Unlike little kids who are literally born like 1 year earlier, they get up and they start like just clicking on smartphones and doing stuff that nobody you're just baffled at. Like I remember a kid, like literally a kid, how old was he? Like 1 or 2 years or something. He like uses phone, like not uses in that sense, but he like uses like kind of like does small little things in the smartphones, like clicks on the buttons and stuff, and has like the basic understanding of what a smartphone does, and like that kind of thing, which is completely crazy to think about. And it makes sense. That is the thing. This is literally what this is. So basically what Frieren says here is that for us long-living creatures, Zoltar has been introduced for a very small amount of time, based comparing it to the vast amount of lives that we have led. However, for you, Zoltar was there from the beginning. You were from the very beginning of your when you were as a kid. I have been teaching you Zoltar. So Zoltar has been something that has been there from the very beginning of your life. You are way more efficient with Zoltar, unlike me, for who Zoltar has been a very minuscule amount of my life, which I guess it makes sense, like kind of, like I said, if you have difficulty in understanding this concept, just think about like elderly people and smartphones, how like even though elderly people struggle with smartphones or any type of technology like that, a little kid can do the same. It's the same thing. Like that is it. This is literally the same thing. For Fern, the Zoltrak has existed from the very beginning of her life. So she has been learning about this from a very young age, and she can do it. Unlike Frieren, for her this has been a new addition. Even though the amount of time that she has been using Zoltrak is the same, or maybe it's more than the amount of time Fern has been using, still she struggles with it, because for her it is just like a drop in the vast amount of lifespan that she has led, that kind of thing. So it perfectly makes sense, why she struggles, unlike Fern, who is so proficient with it, right. Yeah. Since it's fundamental to mages now, you should be able to use it without thinking. Put every bit of mana into it, and there you go. And then we can see, and then we get to the flashback where Frieren thinks about Zenze, and we get to see here that in Flamme's will, Flamme wrote, okay, where's that part? It seems the Emperor approved nationwide research into magic. Until now, humans have always considered magic to be the work of demons. So any open research was considered taboo. Flamme convinced him to change it, and has been working as an instructor for the newly established Imperial Mages. He's asking me to take over the training in this will. So there you go. So at which Zen says like, no, I only teach those people who are worthy enough. And so magic is something special. It's going to become something common at this rate. So that is why she didn't really approve of it. And like I said, I talked about this section at the very beginning. We can see how Zenze sees magic and how Flamme and Frieren sees magic. For Flamme and Frieren, magic is something that they enjoy and they find a sense of adventure in. Flamme loves magic. She loves that little flower bed magic that she does, and that is why she would like to know the beauty, to teach the beauty of magic to everyone else. Similar with Frieren, who wants to know more about magic, and since she has been alongside Flamme from the very beginning, she has inherited her passion for magic, as master and student. So these two are kind of like the same. Unlike Zenze, who is more of, like I said, the rigid, old, type, those elderly people with their their way of thinking, their narrow tunnel vision way of looking at it. She's more like I said, very efficient. Like she said, magic is something special, supposed to be something special. You shouldn't teach everyone about it. And she looks at magic in a very different way, unlike these two. So that is why Sensei didn't agree with the will. She was like, no, I cannot train them, unfortunately. And yeah, and after that Frieren was like, Flamme said that you're going to do exactly this, and even so she wanted to let you know that her dream came true, the dream of teaching everyone magic. So she knew that she wasn't going to take train others. She was going to probably tear off the note, but she still wanted you to know. And at which Frieren tries to go away when Sensei's like, come on, walk with me, we have all the time in our world. And she talks to Frieren about Flamme's childhood, how she loved that little flower bed spell, and she says a pointless spell that is good for nothing. She loved that. She seriously wished that everyone in the world could use it. She loved magic. She loved the beauty of it. That's why she wanted to tell everyone about it, to teach everyone about it. And she said it was a fantasy that she would tell me when she was far shorter than me. And yeah. And at which Frieren also said, Master was always rushing, trying to make decisions quickly, at which Sensei says, because they're humans, they have a limited amount of time. That's why they cannot delay the choices. We elves can delay our choices for centuries. We don't care, But unlike that, humans are constantly progressing. At which Zenze kind of says the later part. She's like, as humans are going, a day will come when they'll surpass us, And she says and a day will come when either it will be the demon king that will defeat you or a human mage. And she's like, beware of that and keep your training up. At which Frieren is like, oh wow, that is so interesting, you know. And I do wonder how many type of mages I'll get to meet, and how many different types of magic I'll get to see. This whole conversation, like, this shows how these two are so different, you know. And yeah, like I said, I really like the symbolism. I don't even know if that was intended for that whole part where Frieren was looking towards the sun while Zenza was looking in the opposite direction. Either way, that's how I saw it. And you know, little by little, yeah, like we get to see after that Himmel comes, their party comes, takes Frieren in, and now finally, you know, like, you know, fast forward here today at the present, Frieren is fighting against her clone, and when, you know, like after that, she kind of, when the clone was going to use the attack, Frieren moves, and Fern uses her attack to completely, you know, like wipe out the clone. And there you go. Yeah, Zenza's words came true. It was a human mage who defeated Frieren. And that is where it ended. Great episode, you know. Yeah. So that is it. So there you go. That was my reaction to this episode. This is episode number 25 of Sousou no Frieren. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Sousou no Frieren. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.